All right, so funny. Okay, so we're going to talk about organizational tips first, and find what works for you. If you're a pen and paper person, that's totally okay. If you're, if you've got your phone glued to you like I do, I'm just sharing what works, what has worked for me so far in terms of organization. If it's easier for you to keep what I'm telling you in a notebook, great, like go for that, like do that. But something that I love to utilize, I have an iPhone, but I know that Android has a feature as well. But the Notes app on your phone, I use my Notes app all day, every day. And when I first got started, I had one tab and I've kind of expanded. I have different tabs in my notes where I keep certain specific things. So I'm going to share a couple of different note sections that are really helpful to have to help with your business so that you're not scrambling and you can easily access any type of information that you need. So the first one I do is it's the current opportunity call and password. Then you're not scrambling, you're not looking for it. Our team is really good about it's the same link, it's the same password every night until they change the password. So anytime the password gets updated, I just update that note and then it's right there on my phone. It's easy to grab for whoever needs it on our team or somebody that's coming on the calls. So having a note with the current Zoom link, here, let's mute whoever is.
Hold on, Jenny, it muted you. Okay.
There we go. We're good. Okay. So having that is your first step, like have the call, the opportunity call. But with that, like what Trina and I were just talking about before we started the call is like say the 9 a.m. op call, just double check on the events tab in True North to see whose link it is. If you are doing a different time than the 5:30 Pacific Standard Time one, because sometimes it could be somebody else's link. So just check that if you are using a different time as opposed to, just the main call that we all use. The second tab to have is one that has your website link and your ambassador ID. Because that ambassador ID, we actually have to use it more frequently than you would think. Like if you got your ticket for regionals and you added yourself to the Facebook group, you have to put your ambassador number, right? And same getting into True North. So it's good to have your ambassador ID handy so that you're familiar with it. You can get this all from the app. I just like having things in one spot that I'm not like looking around all over my phone trying to figure out where to find this information. The next tab, I have a tab called responses. And when I go in the chat or like when I first got started and I was talking to, upline and asking for feedback on how to respond to certain types of messages, I would save really good blurbs. So if it was a blurb that I was like, oh, I'm going to use that again, I know it, whether it's like, I'm too busy so in my responses, it's just one big note I have, and it'll be like a brief response of somebody saying, well, I don't have time for this. And then I have a saved blurb. And then I can tweak it. So it's not like I'm just copying and pasting to the person, but I have bones to go off of to help with a response. So I like having response tab, or even like if just in our chats, like Liz or Ali throws out a really great response that they use, sometimes I just copy and paste it and save it in that response. Because if I'm looking for some kind of like, if I'm just drawing a blank of what I want to say, I can go through that response tab and have some things handy that I can utilize. The next tab, I have two other tabs. One's called signing up an ambassador and signing up a customer, a preferred customer. And I have the copy and paste verbiage of the step-by-step that I click and send to them. If you guys don't have that saved on your phone yet, I can save that. I can post that in the chat when we're done, like in our team chat. But I have one for preferred customers and one for ambassadors. That way it's just ready to go. I can go right to that tab. I've got my verbiage. I send it to the new person and they're good. And then one other thing I have, and I originally started it in my notes, but I actually moved it over to YouTube because it was a lot easier that way. I created a unlisted YouTube playlist, and I have saved our comp video, all the product videos that I love. any kind of social media training that I've listened to, just all good stuff. And I have it called Q. And I can actually share that playlist with you guys because it is unlisted. It'll let me send you guys the link. So if you guys want, I can post that after this is all done. So you can see there's only like maybe 12 videos on there. But what's really nice is when I am chatting with somebody and they want a product video, I just go straight to that YouTube playlist, copy, paste, send, and it's there. And I'm not scrambling to find a video. So I just have it super handy. So most of my organization either runs off of the notes section on my phone or my YouTube playlist. And because I'm using my phone primarily. So that has really helped me. In the beginning, I had started having a link tab on my notes where I just had them all, but it's just prettier on YouTube and you can actually see the screenshot of what the video it is and you can play it yourself. And you can actually just like from your YouTube playlist, you can click the dots and text it straight to that person. So that's a nice thing to have it just ready to go too. Okay, so the last bit to organization that we're going to touch on today, I would love to do an even bigger training on just organization in the future. This is just like your getting down to business bit, like training of being as organized as you can with, the more we save time, the more productive we can be and the more we can move our business forward. If we're spending so much time constantly looking for links, constantly looking for verbiage and stuff, you're not moving your business forward. So the more we can have just these simple things narrowed down, you're going to have so much more time to share and to reach out to people. So the last thing on the organization for tonight, and then we're going to get into our power hour training, is have a running active invite list going. If you don't already, don't just use your brain. Have an actual either on your phone. I have it in my notes, and you can do bullet check marks in the notes feature, at least for the iPhone. And I have a running list of all my current invite people that I'm reaching out to. And then I have a note of the last time I reached out to them. So I put the date of the last time I talked to them so that when I am sitting down to have an intentional power 15 or power 30 or power hour, I can go to my notes and look to see, oh, I haven't talked to that person in 2 weeks. You know what? I'm going to touch back and I'm going to see how they're doing. So the date thing really does come in handy because then you can kind of gauge if it's been a little bit. And then it keeps people from falling from the wayside. Like if we're just cranking out invites, you know who to go back to. If like I just had somebody respond to me that I told Ali today, April 25th, I reached out to this person on April 25th and they just got back to me today. So, and I didn't write that person down. So I didn't follow up with them. And I was like, oh, that fell under the cracks. So those are just a couple of really quick, simple tips that can help you be a little bit more efficient and be more, time is money. You know what I mean? It's much using your time as valuable as possible. Liz is going to share. So we're coming up, I'm going to give a little bit and then Liz is going to go. So Liz is creating awesome graphics because she's great at this. We're going to have some really cool graphics. We created a power 15, a power 30, and a power hour. So say you only have a 15-minute gap, on your lunch break. You have this great little breakdown of 15 minutes that you can just do a little bit towards your business. Same with 30, same with an hour. So Liz is going to explain the 3 different power blocks right now.
Okay, so we kind of broke it up a little bit because sometimes, especially if you have kids, full-time job, all of that, you don't have like an hour to sit and do it. So we really wanted to break it up in different little 15, 30, and an hour. So say you have 15 minutes to spare. This way you're not just, going on Instagram and getting stuck scrolling and sitting there and, next thing you know, it's 15 minutes. So these are kind of ideas we had for if you have a little 15-minute time block as a power 15, you would just spend a couple minutes on it. So I actually set a timer on my phone. And if I'm doing something for that little time block, I don't do anything else. I don't check my text messages. I don't check anything else other than what I'm doing. And I get so much more done in that little small amount of time, even if it's just 5 minutes or something, than if I was constantly being distracted. It's kind of like when you're cleaning a room, and then you find something that goes to another room and then you're like knee deep cleaning something else that you didn't even start with. So these are our ideas for the little power 15-minute block, and we wrote them all down so we wouldn't forget them. But like Jenny said, we're going to make some graphics. You guys can save those and look back to them. but we have check your messages for responses on invites and respond to them. So if anyone new has messaged you, I always just like to check my messages to make sure, because you never know if you have some requests in there, or like Jenny said, some that you forgot for a while. Those will all be right there. Pick 2 people on your invite list to reach out to and invite to a call. You always want to be inviting new people to calls. I think we've all realized it takes a little bit for people to, respond, get to a call, get it all set up. So you're always kind of wanting to keep doing that. Post something to your stories. So we have those little daily themes that we posted in the Rise group. You can pick one of those, just picking something little, even if it's just a short little what you're using today or what you're doing for your business, just anything in your life, just to kind of keep your Instagram active and people coming to it. Engaging with 2 people you follow. So these are people that you're kind of building connections with, you're building that relationship, and you really want, Instagram also loves us when we engage with other people. So that's like a quick little 15 minutes, what you can do, just, setting that time aside and getting a lot more done than you would think. So Power 30 is check your messages and responses again, pick 2 to 5 people you can invite. So sending out a couple more invites, posting something to your stories, the same thing, but also engaging with 5 people you follow. So just upping it a little bit more. So you get, a couple more people on your list and reach out. So if you have an hour to do, so this is what I like to do when I go pick up my kids up from school. I leave a little bit early, so my little ones take a nap in the car, and this is what I do, and I do a power hour. I get so much more done in that little time frame than I do throughout the whole rest of the day. So just spending 5 to 10 minutes in your messages for responses, invites, follow-ups, all those things. Refreshing your invite list with new people. So this is something good to always be doing, because you're always going to have like someone come to mind, or you meet someone else, or you get a referral from someone else. Always kind of refreshing your invite list. Spending 10 minutes sending out invites to Zoom calls, or even like on the fence calls, any of those kinds of follow-ups, just inviting them to get on a 3-way chat call, sending out all kinds of fun invites. So you're going to spend 10 minutes working on your social media. So this is just creating that storefront, whether it's posting, engaging, stories, reels, anything to really, create your brand and show that you are present, building connection, all of that. So things you could do for that, posting IGTVs, reels, any of those kinds of things. So spend 10 minutes engaging with people you follow. So this is really like so huge, even if it's just simple, like in stories, doing the little quick emojis, or, just writing back to a story. That's how you start building connections. And that's what we want, is like authentic relationships and connections. So we're not just being a total spam bot, as Jamie would say, because that's never good. And then spending 10 minutes responding to any new messages that may have come through. A lot of times, people are really quick to get back to you if you reply to their story, like, asking, oh, what was that drink? Like, that looks really good. That's how you kind of just start a relationship and connection. And they usually get back to you pretty quick. So you'd be surprised how many in that hour get back to you. So that's kind of a super quick little rundown. We're going to write it all down and put them in graphics, so you guys have them to go back and look at. So if you're like, shoot, I have 15 minutes, I don't know what to do. Well, just set your alarm for 15 minutes and knock out these few things, and you will feel so much better after. And like, so you got so much accomplished.
I love that. And what Liz said at the end, where like just commenting on people's stories, I've had it where I've reached out to somebody, I've invited them and they didn't answer, or maybe that like the conversation fizzled out and then they kind of ghosted me a little bit, and then I comment on a story and all of a sudden, oh, your message popped up, I totally forgot, and then they start talking to you about it. So use those stories to get a hold of your people. Like it works, it really does, like because they go to respond to their message and anything you've sent them before pops up. And so it's like, oh, there's the message, it's right there. So those stories, that's really the meat. Like that's where the connections are right now. That's where most people are in Instagram.
And you'd be surprised too, because so many times I've responded to someone's story like about something silly, and then they're like, wait, so I've been watching you, like, what are you doing? And they want to ask, but they don't want to just like come out and ask. So it's kind of like a little icebreaker. So that's always key.
So good. Yes. So I saw one question I was going to answer really quick, and then I'm going to see if Allie wanted to chime in. The tabs I was referring to on notes. So it's not technically a tab on iPhones. It's your first sentence that you type on a note automatically becomes bold. And that's what's going to show up on your list of your phone. So like when I go down that list, I just make a title for every note, and that's the tab when I'm looking at all of my notes. So like just a couple, like I have responses, I used to use the video links one. I've got, I keep this week's call schedule. So that's another great tab too that I didn't even include in this. When I paste that call schedule on Sunday, copy that whole thing and put it in a note in your phone, and then you have it available. And if, instead of having to, scroll back through the chat, because every morning I'm posting, the key part, but like for that day, but save the whole week, and then it's there, it's ready for you on your phone, and you can get to it when you need it, and you can see who's leading the calls. Yeah, and like my tab for my constant list tab is called this week's warm market list, and then I also keep track of my cold market that I reach out to also. So I have 2 invite lists that I keep going. Does anybody have any questions before we dive into the next part?
I was gonna say too, I put it in the chat, but for organization, things you use a lot, like if you use your Q Science link, things like that. If you actually go, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's the same. I have an iPhone, so I don't know like Samsung too well, but you can go to keyboard and make shortcuts. So I have little shortcuts for like the main Zoom link that I send all the time, my Q Science link. So it'll just be like QL. So I can just like type it really quick in a chat. So I'm not always having to go and like copy and paste the Zoom link. And if you're doing something like that all the time, that's like a really quick little time saver.
That's so smart. I have not utilized that. I need to do that because that would be really great.
It saves a lot
really
of time.
smart. I need to do that. Allie, did you want to share anything?
I just wanted to say, like, one thing that I do is I don't know if you mentioned, but I track my volume like in my notes. So like every morning I'll wake up, go to my back office and figure out my volume for that day and just put it in there. And then I calculate like, okay, if I'm setting a goal for this month, I'll see how many orders I kind of need for that day. And then as that, goes down and stuff, I track it all in my phone just so it's right there. And I not only do that for myself, but I do it for my team so I can keep them accountable and kind of keep them encouraged. That's kind of what I like to have on my phone. It's not really a like power hour move, but it is something super useful for your phone.
Yeah, tracking your volume, I just started doing that maybe a week and a half ago when Jenna did that video in True North, and that is such a great tool because it really lets you see where you're moving each day in your different legs, and just to like see how it's progressing, and it keeps in mind of where goal you're trying to reach, which rank you're going for the month. That's big. Like being able to track your volume is really beneficial.
Yeah, I find it to be super beneficial when I'm hearing a lot of no's. I keep looking and I'm like, well, my volume's still moving. Like,
yeah, right.
Still happening, even though I'm getting no. So it's kind of encouraging.
It's really encouraging. What would you say, Allie? Like, do you feel like, so when you're sitting down to do a productive, because you're a mom, you've got kids running around and, got horses and all kinds of stuff, you're busy. When you are intentionally gonna do like a power 15 or a power hour or a power half hour, what are your key points? Like, what do you specifically work on?
Honestly, I will pull up my Instagram and I will look at all of the highlight bubbles and I will write down all of those names that I see most often on my Instagram page, and then I will reach out to them. So that's kind of where all my power goes. I don't really work on Facebook, but the Instagram highlights are something I really utilize because I think with the algorithm, that means they're seeing me and I'm seeing them, I believe is how it works. So I want to be engaging with those people that, I see a lot. So that's kind of where I always put my focus in. If I have a couple 15 minutes here and there, is those highlight bubbles.
And if you go in your settings too in Instagram, not sure offhand where it is, but you can actually, I think it's just under people you follow. You can see it has two categories of like least engaged, like people you engage the most with, people you're like most active with, and people you like engage least with. And maybe going and I pick a couple of the ones that I'm like not engaging with. I'm like, oh, okay. And I start watching their stories and creating engagement because, like Allie said, it is, then that's going to show them my content too, you know? So that's a great way.
Yeah, no, that is such a great way. I really like bubbles. That's it's that any I did a bunch of research on algorithms this week, the week leading up to our social media training, and everyone is like highlight bubbles, Instagram stories. Like that's where the communication is right now. So yeah, that is all really good. Liz, can you think of anything else before we like go into doing like a Power 15 together that you would want to touch on?
I mean, I feel like this is something we do all through the day, but if you're really only having that like 15 minutes or 30 minutes, definitely just like checking in with your team and your people and seeing, like how they're doing and, you know, what anything new or exciting happening, all of that. Cause I know a lot of us work during the day, so we don't, have time all through the day. So I think just if you're sitting down and that's your time to like work on this and do that, that's a great thing to add in.
Yeah, I didn't even include those in there because that's a like we should think that's a given, right? Like being involved with our team, congratulating people when they get new people coming in, building each other up because this is a team effort. And trust me, I have been in funks where I'm just getting no's left and right, and I'm seeing everybody else getting yeses, and it's hard. It is hard, and it can bring you down, but when it's your time to shine, we want our team to build, you want to cheer you on, right? So we want to, it's like that golden rule of thumb we've been told since elementary school. We treat others the way we want to be treated, right? So by encouraging each other and building each other up and always celebrating each other, like that's going to go a long way. And it just will build our team even stronger. Like it's cool to see how much we're growing. Like this is only what our third training. We got 16 people on here. That's really cool. You know what I mean? Like it's really cool to see how we're growing. So yeah, utilize our team chats, ask questions, share your responses. Just be there to say hi or send a funny GIF. I'm a GIF person. Like I could speak in GIFs. Like that's like my love language is using those. So share something funny. I don't know. Like it doesn't always have to be like asking questions. Like you can just spread some joy in the mix. Okay, so Allie, did you want to say anything else before we try doing a little bit of a power?
No, I'm excited for our little segments here. I think it's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun. Okay, so I'm gonna set a timer on my phone. We're gonna do, let's see, so we literally have like 13 minutes, right, of the call, Liz. I think 13 minutes left.
Do you want to do a little 10-minute?
Yeah, let's just do a 10-minute, a power 10. So we're gonna do for like 3 minutes, go through your messages. Well, should we do we have, hopefully people check their messages already. Maybe not. We'll just do the messages. Okay, I'll make the decision. For 3 minutes, we're going to go through messages. If you see somebody hasn't gotten back to you, maybe check in, say, hey, how was your day? Like, how are you doing? So I'm going to set a timer for 3 minutes and we're going to go through our inboxes and check in on messages. Okay. All right. I wish I had music to play. I'll do that next time. 10 seconds left. All right, so that was our 3 minutes of inboxing. Okay, so now we are going to pick 2 people from, well, we won't do invites right now because I want you to do voice messages. Let's do, go to your Instagram stories and go post something. Okay, I'm gonna set a timer. And then if you finish before the 3 minutes, go start engaging with people. Be creative. You could just take a picture of all of us. Do something. Bethany was on it. Okay. All right, I'm gonna set the timer.
Jenny, if I just play music on my phone, will it like play? I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if it'll work this way. Yeah.
All right, we got our 3 minutes. Oh, stop that. All right, it was way better with the music. Thank you. That was much better. Okay. Oh, let's see. We've got 6 minutes left. So let's do one more chunk. We'll do one more 3-minute chunk and then we'll sign off for the night. Okay. So now you're gonna go engage with at least 2 people in your feed. Try for more. Okay. All right, ready, set, go.
This day is gonna be the greatest memory in history. Let's don't need no luck. That golden touch. Time to light it up. Let's go. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. Yeah, this is it. Ready for it? Ready for it? This is it.
All right, that was our 3 minutes. So put in the chat, how many people were you able to engage with in 3 minutes? Yeah, 6. I got 6 too. Let's see, 5. Okay, good, good. See, isn't that amazing? 3 minutes, right? Intentionally posting. 5, good, good. 4, see, this is great. This is really good. 6, yes. See, so it's amazing. Like if we like set that intentional time, look at how productive we were, right? That was what, 10 minutes, and we were able to be productive and like not get lost in reels and stuff, you know? And something to be said too, like when you are engaging in these little chunks, make sure it's people that aren't on our team. You know what I mean? Make sure it's people that aren't already with us, and then on your downtime you can comment on your team stuff. Like because we want them to join us, right? We want them to see how much fun we're having. So let's see, yeah, we got some good numbers. I'm really glad. That's not 2. That's still great. Like, because we talked about that in the social media training, right? We want to make sure we're being intentional with what we're saying. We're using enough verbiage to actually have it go further. So this was great, you guys. We've got 3 minutes left before it's going to kick us all out. So thank you guys so much hi, Ryan. Thank you guys so much for getting on. I'm going to share the verbiages for the ambassador sign up and the preferred customer sign up that I keep in my notes in our group chat afterwards, in case you guys want to save those as tabs in your notes. And if there was anything, if you guys want me to share my YouTube playlist, I'd be happy to do that too. But yeah, thank you guys for coming. Liz, Allie, did you guys want to say anything else? No? Okay. All right, ladies. I hope you guys have a great night. Thank you for coming. Bye.